What's up, guys? I am very excited today for this interview. This is a girl that I have observed from the sidelines for many, many years. We've actually spoken on some stages together over the years
Yeah.
and have a massive, massive amount of respect for her, for the business that she has built, for her as a mom, business owner, everything that she's doing in the community. Carrie, welcome to eXp.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited because I want to get to know you a little bit better, but I figured let me get to know you better in an interview so everybody else can get to know you better because somebody at your level, you're in the DC area, you're selling 700 plus million dollars. Sometimes people look at somebody like yourself who's at this crazy high level like you're just this mythical unicorn and you're not even real, but you are real. So help people understand a little bit more about who is Keri Shull.
Sure. Well, the first thing is I'm a mother of 4 children that are 7 and under. So there's a lot that comes with that. I'm like, so I've had poop on my face. Like I'm a human being that struggles with being a mom like everybody else. I live in Florida right now, which I made the transition. My team is in the DMV. I made the transition to Florida at the beginning of COVID. So in 2020, and that's a whole story, which I'll tell you another time because it's pretty funny, but it was not planned. Let's just say this. I got in the car and drove, and then I just never drove back. So I've spent the last 2 years kind of with my feet in both places. And we made the decision to move back to Arlington to support the growth of our team and our eXp business. And so I'm really, really excited about that. I'm the kind of person that cares deeply about people. I'm a relationship person. I like to feel like really connected and like I have a big impact. And so I think one of the reasons that I've loved leading a team is that, oh, thank you, Edward, that it gives me the ability to stay connected to people over time. When I first got in the real estate business, I was one of the people that liked working on the buy side better than the list side. And everyone's like, why? I'm like, because you get to be in the car with people. Like I would pick them up so excited to see them and hear about their week and connect with them. And then they would buy their house and they would move on. So for those of us that are deep connectors, I'm still in relationship with a lot of the first clients I ever helped buy or sell. But I feel with a team, you get to have that deep connection all the time, which is really important to me.
Very cool. Well, I live in San Diego. A lot of people come to San Diego and never leave. So I know the feeling going down there to Florida
I
with your mom
love
all the
San Diego so much. It's amazing.
time. Very cool. And so talk a little bit about you guys were your own broker,
Yes.
as were we. And people a lot of times are like, you built this amazing big brokerage, selling hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Like, why the heck would you build a brokerage and then give it up? Like, that seems crazy.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
who have been their own broker know, but why don't you share from your perspective?
Oh, well, so that's a really good question. For me, I had the support. So it wasn't, people are like, oh, it was because you were bogged down in the details. And no, that wasn't it actually. The true story is 2020 was like a huge kick in the teeth, right? My average agent of my top 5, and I have a huge team. So imagine we're about 100 people, but my top 5 agents, their average income in 2021 was $570,000. And I was really proud of that, right? I was really focused on getting my top people to net over $1 million. And I was like charging in that direction. I also recognized 3 years ago that I needed a growth path because really ambitious people need to understand what's next all the time. And for me, I had a lot of conversations. I had 2 jobs before I got into real estate and became more of an entrepreneurial spirit, which I have always been. But I remember my second job, I was managing 3 sales teams and the sales of 3 condo buildings. And I went to the owner of the company and I asked him about what his exit plan was and how he saw the future of the company, and he couldn't tell me. I asked about his succession plan. He had a son that wouldn't have been capable of running the business, and ultimately I was really ambitious. So I wanted to know that I was being considered for that role from a very young age. And so for the people on my team, 2022 showed me that I did not have a plan. When they looked at me and said, "What's next for me?" I had come up with a solution, which you're going to laugh at the name, Kyle. I had a brand called Be Real. The brand was about being your authentic self, and it was designed to be the progression plan for my team. But what I recognized is having a progression plan for my team in the DMV wouldn't have solved the problem, because the DMV is such a transient area that I really needed to be able to scale it throughout the country and the world. And when I started looking at the money to be able to do it, I couldn't make the numbers work. I would have been sucking profitability out of our team to expand. Right. That ultimately, to get to the numbers where it would start making sense, I would have had to raise capital. So to give you my frame of mind, I saw the need for something bigger than what I felt confident I could create at the pace I felt I needed to do it. Yep. And 2022 was the intersection of the market changing and my vision as a leader being shaken, because I didn't know how to create what I needed. And so I was seeking, but I'll tell you what, I was so close to eXp. When my husband said, "I want to go to eXp," I actually told him, "If you bring this up in our home again, I'm going to divorce you." Like, those words, I'm embarrassed to say, came out of my mouth, because for those of you that watch this and you're like, what was she thinking? I mean, he says I was the hardest person he's ever recruited. I was hardcore no. I was a hardcore no.
Yeah. But like our leads are. Our leads all start as a hardcore no too. But it's not a no, it's a not yet.
So many of mine are like calling me and they're like, "What do I need to do to join eXp? If you did it, I want to do it." I'm like, wow, they like see it so much faster than I did. What was wrong with me? But for me, what it was like, I was screwed over by a huge real estate brand. Some of the people watching are part of that brand. I was one of the top agents in the world, and I showed up for work one day and they put a piece of paper across the desk and they said, "Sign this or you're gone." I had 47 families relying on me. So I unilaterally had this commission structure change that was required from corporate that I had to sign that day. And so I vowed to myself, I'll never join another brokerage again. I will always be in control. And yet my desire to serve my team and promote their growth and have this vision that was beyond me, I couldn't quite figure out how to do it on my own. And so the turning point for me, my husband, again, being very sneaky and smart, he's like, "Eventually she'll see it," right? So he said, "Want to take the kids to Disney?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, he wants to take the kids to Disney. I love this idea. This seems like the best plan ever." So we take the kids to Disney, and Tim and Julie Harris and Veronica Figaro just conveniently happened to be planning on having dinner with us that night. So we go to dinner, and I'm thinking, like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put in the time for this dinner and smile, and that's it. Then I'm done with this, and he can like check it off.
It's like a timeshare presentation, right?
Yeah. So I go, and then Veronica is, she's magnetic and she's amazing. And she said something that changed my life and I'm really grateful for. She said, "Yeah, I wanted to be in relationship with my people when they outgrew me." And that's exactly what I was feeling. Like, Compass came in, they spent millions of dollars recruiting my top people in 2022, but it wasn't about the money. It was about not having the growth plan where they could have their own brand and they could grow something that was different and bigger and not under me.
Right.
The difference with eXp is you have partnerships. and you're really working hand in hand to pull each other and grow each other. And one conversation with Veronica, everyone else talked to me about rev share, which I equated, by the way. I'll admit to this. I'm like, I've already had profit share, right? I was at Keller Williams. I've already had profit share. Like, I don't need that crap. I don't need an extra $25 a month. And so I just had this block where anyone who tried to talk to me about rev share, I'm like, nope, not interested. Well,
Yep.
once I learned about the relationships and that piece of what I'm calling forever relationships, because that's what it's about. It's about partnerships that last a lifetime because you're growing something together. How
Yep.
exciting is that? Right. And
Yep.
I've been watching some of my friends like, oh, that's cool what they're doing, or that's cool. But I didn't get it. And when they would try and talk to me about it, I wasn't open. So then I said, well, wait a minute, help me understand this revenue share thing. And I started talking to Elizabeth Riley and Jean Frederick, and I got to meet with Glenn. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay. So people are not making $25 a month. I mean,
Yep.
they're making a lot of money and they're helping their people to
Yeah.
pay their mortgages and their car payment and live a life of freedom. And my whole life, I've been about creating a situation where opportunity, freedom, and time intersect, right? Like, I want to have unlimited income potential. That's been very important to me my whole life. I'm really financially motivated, own it, and I'm happy about it, right?
Yep.
And I want to live with absolute freedom. I want to decide when I do what I do. And that's the very beginning of growing a team. That's what motivated me. Then I wanted that for my people. I wanted my top people to have that. And now when I'm looking at what's the fastest way to unlock freedom for people, it's making sure they never worry about a bill again in their life, regardless of how much money they're making. Some people are going to choose to live frugally, right? They're going to choose, if they're getting $5,000 of reoccurring money every month, it's going to change their life, right?
Yep.
And for some people, it's going to be $100,000 or $250,000 a month. But the good news in the system is you can help everybody win.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, this to me, what I've learned over the 4 years being here is that this company is the true embodiment that if you help enough other people get what they want in life, you can have anything that you want in life. Because the revenue share, it gets this bad stigma, right? That it's just like a recruiting thing, whatever. But in reality, it's a vehicle that has you, that has me, that has Tim and Julie and Veronica and all the amazing people you mentioned. It's what has us take a vested interest in the success of the people that are a part of this company with us.
Yes.
Because this revenue share thing is not like, go recruit somebody, we cut you a check and mazel tov. Like, no, this is help us grow this company and then help these people that you have brought into the company grow. And if you do that, then the company rewards you. And
Yes.
it literally like you're going to learn this, and I'm excited to see with your brain what you come up with. But it's like we obsess every day about like, how do we just pour into our people more? How
Mm-hmm.
can we help people? How can we facilitate their growth? What else can we do? It's truly a magical thing that just doesn't exist anywhere else, because every other brokerage, it's cutthroat. Like, some of the brands you mentioned, if you were in one of their offices, you're competing against the person across the hall from you,
Right.
right? Here, we don't have that competition. It's all collaboration, which is super cool. And I'm excited to collaborate with you on some cool ideas of how we can help our people grow even more.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to collaborate with you too, Kyle. I actually watched you speak in Denver. I don't know if you knew
Yeah.
that. I was
I did
like,
not. No, you said that. I was like, you were there? I didn't even
yeah,
know.
I was like hiding because I didn't want anyone to know. I was
You
even
weren't
like,
public yet.
yeah, I was very quietly supporting Dan behind the scenes and hadn't yet made my decision.
Love that. Well, talk a little bit about for your team members, like what are they excited about? You guys have been over for a few weeks now. You probably have talked to them for a month or so. What's their feeling now? What are they excited about?
Well, I will say this. I was afraid. Okay, I saw it, but because I was so resistant, like I'm pretty confident. Okay, I'm I'm going to be able to show them the vision. They're going to get excited. They're going to get on board. But I remember like the night before I told my team, I was still obsessing over my slides. Like that is so not like me. Like I'm not a preparer. I was like, okay, I got to make sure they see it all. And like, and so the exercise that I did, that I helped them to actually see the need for what we were doing. Because a piece of it for me, we live in the DMV. Okay. That is an extremely transient area. So people come and go. I've been doing this for a long time, over 15 years, and people that I have absolutely loved. I've got on the phone and interviewed other team leaders. I've like researched the brokerages. I mean, I'm like nervous because someone I love is leaving and I can't stay in relationship and in business with them in the same way, right? Yeah. And so my team, one of the exercises we did, we were sitting in a circle. We started the day by talking about what was most challenging for us in 2022 and what was the thing that we were most proud of. And we went around and there were a lot of tears because we connected on a really deep level and people had lost important people in their life that they hadn't shared with the group yet. People were struggling with a lot of things and they were proud of a lot of really amazing things. And so we had this connection. And then as we started to transition into me talking about the decision, we talked about how important the deep relationships in the room are. And I said, listen, I'd like you guys to do something for me. And we just had done a 10-year vision where I helped them walk through an exercise. I got to go to a couples retreat. And part of what they were doing is taking your individual visions and then helping to merge them. And so I wanted to do that for my team. And so when I came back, I mean, even like my construction team, I'm also a developer. So I have 119 condos that Dan and I have under construction and I manage that team as well. So from my guys in the field to our agents, I did the 10-year vision. So that day when I'm talking about this transition, I said, listen, everybody who does not think they are going to be living in the DMV 10 years from now, please stand up. There were only 7 people in the whole room that were sitting down.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, when I started to talk about why having a platform that allows for us to stay in business and have global expansion at our fingertips, people that they loved, even the people sitting down are like, oh my gosh, like my best friend isn't going to be here in 10 years. And I didn't know that. But as a leader who'd already been through it, I did. And so I think that what that did for them was open their eyes to everything else we were going to talk about because they saw the need for a platform where we could expand globally with one fee, right? They don't want to be paying a cap in one market center and then going to Florida for the winter and paying a separate cap there. They want a structure that supports them and allows for a lot of flexibility after COVID, right? So that was the first thing. And then I talked about some of the people who left us and that what I thought they really wanted was their own brand. And I wanted an infrastructure where they could decide they were ready for that and they could do it in the safety of the growth that we do as a team. So if they said, Carrie, I want to be on the team for 3 years and then here's what the next 5 years looks like, I'm all about supporting that. But they never had that level of comfort when it was, I'm going to leave you and compete with you in 3 years. Now it's, oh, awesome. I have this mentor that is going to take me there. So they got really excited. We made it really clear. Hey, a lot of people are like, eXp is a recruiting company. What we said is, listen, 80% of the people at eXp don't recruit. There's absolutely no pressure to recruit. If you're someone who decides you want to attract agents, you want to mentor and support their growth, we want to teach you how to be amazing at that. And we already have a lot of systems and processes and ways of doing what we do that they understand deeply and it's ingrained in them so they can train other people at a different level than what they're getting in the industry, right? So we said, if you want to support agents making more money and being more successful, and this is your goal, let's do it. Well, we had a lot of people raise their hands and say, like, I am called to do that. I want to do that. Teach me how I can do that. And it's already happening. Of all of our agents, we've had multiple conversations with people that they're bringing on and supporting. So I see the the fire that's been lit, and some of them are already starting to talk to their friends, their family members. My aunt, who lives in Oregon, just joined our organization, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to be in business with my family that lives in Oregon. Like, it's the coolest feeling.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got agents on my team. Some make enough to cover their car payment every month. Some make enough to cover their house payment every month. I got one agent who's making like 8 grand a month on top
Wow.
of the commission income. Like, it's just so cool. One of the things that I liked when we moved was like the opportunities available to me are identical to them. Like, they have the same amount of opportunity that we have. And I think that was huge because, as you know, there's companies stroking checks to get you to go to places. And those checks are really cool for you, really cool for Dan, but really crappy for your team because your team's effectively paying for the money that you got.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to have a company that provides the same opportunities for our agents as it does for us. I think is a really cool thing in what eXp's built. And the second part of what you had mentioned is the fact that you can help your agents, even after they grow on from your team. We've probably all had agents we've brought in who are darn near sleeping in their cars and turn them into 6-figure earners, that can provide an amazing life for their family. And then when that agent leaves in a traditional brokerage, it's kind of like you're either frustrated that they're leaving you because you taught them everything, or you're disappointed that they're leaving you because you're going to lose that connection. But now what's cool is if that happens, when somebody does grow, moves on, especially, in your guys' transient market, like, you're now financially incentivized to help them grow.
Yeah.
It's no more like peace out, never see you again, call me never. Now it's like, let me help you. How can I help you grow? Like, we had a mastermind at our office last week. I probably had 5 agents who were used to be a part of my team that have moved on, but are still part of my family at eXp. And I love the fact they're here, that we're pouring into them, that we're masterminding with them. It's
Yeah.
super, super cool.
Well, so we call I remember early as a team leader, I used to be like, what? This person who left the team is at our happy hour and I'm paying for all their drinks. Like, wow, my mindset was so broken, right?
Yeah.
So now we have an entire group that we call KST alumni. And they're all the people that have like moved on in the industry, but they still come and we still invite them to our events. And so we had our Q2 event this year. We invited all of those alumni, some of which we flew in from like Boston and surprised the team. And we did an adult field day.
Okay.
And the alumni were their own team competing with us. So we like to I do my best to stay connected, even with the people that move out of the area. And now I'm excited that I can invite those people to come join us again. Right.
Yeah.
That is, oh man, it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, I want to respect your time. We're at the top of the half hour here. So I'm so excited for you to be a part of this. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, and this is connecting with you, reach out to Carrie. Her number's on the screen, 571-334-6051. Reach out to her. I know she would love to have a conversation with you. She is such an amazing leader. I'm so excited that you are a part of this whole thing with us. I know you're going to do some amazing things. You're going to bring things to the table that some of us have never even thought of. And I couldn't be more excited. So with that, welcome to the family. We'll talk to you soon, Carrie.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Bye, everybody.